Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is Mehdi. Let's see 12 of most unique fragrances in my collection. Without any further ado, I want to start by a great cheapie from House of Letzafa, Mahir Black. This fragrance is a very smoky, daring, slightly green and citrusy type of fragrance. Definitely not a blind buy worthy type of fragrance. Smells like real smoke. I don't know if they are going after any particular fragrance, if they are cloning, or if it is dupe of any fragrance out there. If you know it, let me know in the comments below. I haven't smelled anything like this before. It is definitely not a safe blind buy worthy fragrance, not for everybody. Definitely a love and hate polarizing type of fragrance, and not a complimenting mass appealing type of scent profile at all. Lasts on me 6 to 7 hours plus in terms of longevity. First hour and a half average projection and sillage. A great fragrance for fall and winter. So number 11, at first I want to say this is not a top list. I just pick fragrances randomly. So number 11, Genetic Bliss by 2787 Perfumes. Unique name also. Okay, a very smoky and powdery type of fragrance. Oud I can catch, and very dry, I have to say, woody type of fragrance. I cannot get anything fresh in this fragrance. I cannot get anything green, aquatic, juicy or citrusy, I have to say. Smells extremely woody, like mixture of few different type of woody notes in a most dry way possible, I have to say. Fragrance has a very strong base. It is a little bit powdery, very little at the background, sweet and smoky. Lasts on me like 10 to 12 hours plus, and projection and sillage is, let's say, 3 hours average projection and way above average sillage. At number 10, By the Fireplace from Maison Margiela, another smoky bonfire type of fragrance, like the name, By the Fireplace. Smells very cozy and warm, smoky, but those smoky notes are not as prominent as Mahir Black, I have to say, because we have other sub notes which take control of that smoky note. They don't let that smoky note scream that much or stand out. I can get some sort of chestnutty, creamy feel at the background of the fragrance with a little bit of sweetness. Lasts on me 10 hours plus. In terms of longevity, projection is okay, on-off type of projection for first 2 hours, and sillage is big, leaves a very long scent trail behind, I have to say. Number 9, Toy Boy by Moschino. Besides that unique scent profile, has also a unique presentation, I have to say. It is a rose-based fragrance. Rose fragrances are not that much unique, but it is a bit different compared to most of my rose-based fragrances, as it is fruity, rosy, and has some sort of different type of sweetness at the background of the fragrance. Rose is a bit jammy, and pear note is also as prominent as rose. It is a pretty long-lasting fragrance. I can say like 8-10 hours, but projection and sillage is airy. Sillage is a little bit better compared to the projection for first 2 hours, let's say. At number 8, Tonka Cola from House of Montserrat, also has a unique name. For me, this fragrance is 90% totally a different fragrance compared to most of my fragrances in the collection. A unique fragrance stands out, but also I can get some sort of similarities with Guerlain L'Homme Ideal line, especially L'Homme EDP, but I can say 90% is totally a different fragrance. So it is very thick, sweet. About that cola note, which I can hear lots of people are curious about it. It is not like sparkling, carbonated, fresh, cold and realistic cola note. It is like a cola that you forgot to drink it for a long time, and it is not carbonated anymore, and it is not like standing in the fridge. It is like heated somehow, some type of cola. Smells very sweet. Tonka is much more prominent compared to the cola note and has a little bit of, I can say, honey-ish feel to it at the background. Lasts on me 10 to 12 hours plus. Solid longevity, and projection and sillage is average somehow for first 2-3 hours. Number 7, Carven Low Intense, a fresh, long-lasting and different type of spring-summer fragrance, I have to say. To this one, smells green, slightly citrusy, powdery. At the opening it is like toothpaste somehow, but at the dry down we get rid of that toothpastey vibe of the fragrance and gets green and powdery, but powdery notes are much more prominent compared to the green notes at the dry down. I wish it was less powdery. I don't like that much that powdery vibe of this one. It is a mature and different type of fragrance for spring and summer, especially I prefer it for spring. Lasts on me 10 hours plus. Longevity is good. Projection and sillage is average for first 2 hours. Number 6 is Wind Wood from House of Montserrat, one of my absolute favorites from this house. Most of Montserrat fragrances, like 95% of them, are unisex fragrances, but this one classified as a men's fragrance. So it is leafy, very mature, slightly dirty, leathery, At the background has some sort of petroleum notes like Dior Fahrenheit. I can say it is inspired by that fragrance, but they are totally different again. So it is also citrusy. It's extremely mature, masculine, and sexy, I have to say. If you like a very outstanding, unique, mature, and different freshy fragrance, you can try this one. But scent profile is for all season round somehow, because it has also enough weight for colder seasons. But personally, I prefer it better for spring and summer. Lasts only 12 hours plus, and projection and sillage is great for first 2 hours. Number 5, another great cheapie, Bentley for Men Absolute. It is a dark fragrance, but it is transparent. It is not like potent dark type of fragrance. A great dark fragrance for office situations, let's say for indoors. It is like peppery, spicy, smoky, and I can get a prominent pencil shaving-ish note vibe at the background of the fragrance or at the mid notes. It is one of the most inoffensive, daring, smoky, dark fragrances in my collection. A little bit has black tea feel also to it. Lasts only 10-12 hours plus, but it doesn't project that loud, and sillage is also below average, but I can get like 2-3 hours soft below average type of projection and sillage. Let's continue by House of Bulgari at number 4, Man in Black. It is a very mature, manly, dressed up and sexy fragrance with daring scent profile. It is like dark, herbal, it is sweet, and like most of tobacco-based fragrances has that cherry jammy vibe to it. Tobacco is a prominent note here, and fragrance is a little bit sweet. Also, I can get some sort of black peppery spiciness at the background of the fragrance with touch of cinnamon. Has a very warm and cozy nature and stance, I have to say. I can get 4 hours longevity max with first hour and a half soft below average type of projection and sillage. I can hear that some can get better performance with different batches, but I have to talk about what I can get. For me, this fragrance is a weak fragrance, but scent profile is 10 out of 10. Number 3, Bad Boy Le Parfum by Carolina Herrera. There is few different versions of this fragrance. We are talking about Le Parfum version, which is dark, daring, and very different. Smells smoky. I wouldn't suggest to travel with this fragrance because it has a very big and pronounced realistic cannabis note. We have 2 types of cannabis note here. One is very green and leafy. Second one is smoked, I can say, and gives the fragrance a dark and smoky feel. But at the dry down, it is not that much smoky, but still you can feel that cannabisy feel of the opening. Lasts only solid 7 to 8 hours plus in terms of longevity. Projection and sillage is average for first 2 hours. Number 2, Black Afghano by Nasomatso. Welcome to the party. Another cannabis-based fragrance. It is oily, it is green, it is smoky, very dark and gothic somehow type of fragrance. Has a little bit of I can say sourness to it, like resiny or berryish type of sourness. You know, some of the resins like LME also gives you that sour vibe. Fragrance is also very dense and oily. I can get solid 12 hours plus longevity with this fragrance, but it doesn't project that loud. I can say like 3 hours average somehow projection and sillage. Sillage is a bit better compared to the projection. I prefer it for winter. Number 1, let's say I haven't smelled anything like this before and I don't have any other fragrances or fragrance that reminds me of this one. Marc-Antoine Barrois Gamit. It is a very different type of fragrance, totally different, but it is crazy that gets compliments also. I wouldn't give personal compliment on this fragrance to anybody. So it is like suede, minerals, salty, metallic with touch of citrusy freshness. Make it short, I don't know, smells for me like brand new sneakers. In terms of performance, I have to say lasts forever and projects loud for 3-4 hours. I would prefer it for, let's say, all season round, why not? Except summer days, let's say, okay, also for summer nights. Take care, guys.